Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe are not being talked about enough. Tonight's film is 1972 or 73 film Little Miss Innocence, also known as Teenage Innocence. And I say 72 or 73 because the actual copyright notice in the back of this DVD says 72. IMDb says 73. Sometimes that happens from when the film was made to when the film was released. Little Miss Innocence and her friend Carol met a man named Rick and drove him right up the wall. This is put out in the Driving Collection by Vinegar Syndrome. The Driving Collections is when they do a double feature for a budget price, and they always give you beautiful, the best transfers they possibly can give you. And this is with Teenage Seductress. On the back here, you can see some shots from each one of the films in this collection. And we are looking at tonight, Little Miss Innocence. Little Miss Innocence, my gosh, this is quite a movie. If you are into sexploitation films, this will definitely be one that will be, that could really kind of just suck you right in, man. This is something that was really, really special. Let's start off with the style of the film. The film is shot beautifully, and Vinegar Syndrome is known to do these 2K restoration scans on these driving collection films. And finding negatives. I mean, this looked like they had the negative, but just beautiful shots. There's this montage sequence in the middle of the film that is just shot in this just really stylistically, even in the way that the actors were directed and sitting. Even the edits in this film are very fast and bizarre at times, involving the sex scenes and the non-sex scenes and the way that it was cut together. There's definitely just high production value in terms of the cinematography. The great cinematography, just the shooting is it's awesome. It's not something that you would see in a film that's this low budget and unknown. When we look at the music, you have a great title song for Little Miss Innocence. And a great kind of title card with this drawn picture of this like teenage girl at the beginning of the movie. But then you have, during the montage sequence of the film, you have this really cool jazzy 70s kind of music that almost sounds like it has some steel drums in it or something. It's a really unique piece of music, really cool. And then near the end of the film, there's a really dark, haunting piece of score near the end of the film that's kind of jarring in light of everything that's going on at that point in the film. When we look at the characters, I mean, this is really a film that is based on three characters. That's it. There's three people, and it's really all in one setting. And these three characters, I mean, if they stink, I mean, the film's not going to move. These three characters are awesome. Two girls, one guy. The acting is great. The acting on all fronts is great. I don't know who this guy is. He's freaking awesome. The two girls, freaking awesome. They just carried this movie like they should. So the acting for such a low budget, unknown movie, sexploitation, exploitation type film, this is your example, folks, of how underground exploitation, quote unquote, trash cinema, can bring such amazing quality. And you can see how a director like Tarantino today is making these Hollywood films, but completely inspired by films like this. Just awesome characters, awesome acting. This is I don't want to, I don't give spoilers in these reviews, but I got to tell you that this is a very unique sexploitation film, slash exploitation. It's very unique, that deals with, gender issues, and it also on a level that I have not seen before, it represented cinematically ever.
It's really almost a reversal of roles of sorts. I've seen pieces of things like this in some women in prison films, but this film really deals with things in a very unique way, and there are some twists and some turns, predominantly, as the film climaxes. And I gotta tell you, there's something. The last line of dialogue for this film is quite shocking in light of the film. I mean, I really, it's almost, you don't even know how to take it. Um, there is uh, there is a viciousness to this film, really without blood. There's a violence to this film without blood, and there is a supreme tension that builds and builds and builds. My eyes were glued to this movie as you just wanted to see what was going to happen next and how things were going to unfold and what was going to be revealed. Um, there's an element of captivity in this film. There's an element of claustrophobia in this film and helplessness, done in a very, very unique way. Now, um, the two females are attractive. They're sexually attractive. You're seeing their bodies in this film, and they definitely have that '70s look, especially the blonde. Um, and the guy, his presence is so unique. His face, his eyes, his sideburns, his black rimmed glasses. Just an awesome character. Really cool guy. Definitely be looking him up some more and seeing what else he might have done. A couple interesting things about the film, though, um, is that it was 72 minutes. 72 minutes on here. Um, but the trailer that's provided for the film has some added sex scene stuff that's with the same with the actors that was not in this cut of the film. And then I looked up some things online, and the film is known to be 79 minutes long, but the cut that Vinegar Syndrome provided was 72 minutes. So I'm trying to figure out if there is a rougher, full extended cut out there somewhere. But I know that Vinegar Syndrome, I mean, they release adult films, so it wouldn't be like they would have, not released the full cut. So maybe this is really the only cut that is out there in this type of quality. But when you watch the trailer as the special feature, you'll notice that there are some added, more explicit sexual scenes that are not that you did not see in the film itself. So that was very interesting. Nonetheless, Little Miss Innocence is worth your time if you are into sexploitation films. If you're into exploitation films, this is definitely worth your time. Little Miss Innocence, Teenage Innocence. If you're into if you really want to take teenage exploitation, teenage sexploitation to another level, if you also like your sexploitation with a touch of darkness, this is definitely your film as well. I mean, there is fun to be had sexually in this film, but there's also darkness. And I don't want to give away too much, but there's a supreme tension that unfolds and unfolds and unfolds to a climax. 72 minutes, how can you beat it? This is awesome, guys. Little Miss Innocence. You can pick this up on the Vinegar Syndrome website. I'll be looking at Teenage Seductress in the future on this YouTube page. And here it is right there, folks. And there's a shot from the film right there. Deals with some pretty heavy duty subject matter as well that gets revealed in the film. Excuse me. Whew, burp to the truth. Little Miss Innocence. And that's 1972, put out by Vinegar Syndrome. Thank you, Vinegar Syndrome. And thank you for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. You can check out my own films, my own personal films, at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. And please check out all my other reviews on this page that are being updated all the time. There's tons from exploitation, horror, adult, tons of Jess Franco, the weird, the bizarre. It's all here. Everything that I think, even comedy, just anything that I think is not being talked about enough cinematically. Thank you so much, and good night.